Thank you for tuning in to Cop with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're here with comic Amanda Van Nostrand. Amanda Van Nostrand, how the hell are you?
Brian, I'm great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing so good. It's so great to be talking to you because you're just fucking slinging the jokes online. I know I follow you. You're Amanda Van Nos at Twitter.
Yes.
And on Instagram, you are Amanda Van Nos. So I guess, yeah, that's exactly the same fucking thing. But you're AmandaVan.com, which is hilarious.
Correct.
Yes, and then you have Keeping It Fresh Comedy, and you were doing that. I guess you're still doing it with Emily Walsh. Emily Walsh, it's made its way onto Zoom. Were you even doing it before the pandemic, or no?
No, not on Zoom before the pandemic. No, that was a pandemic adjustment.
But you were doing it live in person, and then it just migrated online.
Yeah, so we had two shows that we were doing. We were doing Keeping It Fresh, and then we were also doing Dad's House.
What was Dad's House?
Dad's
Just the same thing?
I mean, basically, but it was sort of an opportunity for everybody to get like a little bit weird, and a chance for us to book comics that we maybe wouldn't normally have, like not just strictly stand up. So sort of opened it up to like musical and like improv or, musical comedy and things like that.
Okay.
Characters, all that stuff.
That was Dad's House?
Yeah.
And so that didn't stay online or no?
We never did that online. Okay. That was always just a live show. We were kind of, yeah.
Yeah, blast from the past. Where were these things? I just can't wait to hear a classic in-person thing.
Dear Lord. So we were doing Keeping It Fresh at the Slipper Room for a little bit. And then we moved it to Easy Lover in Brooklyn. And then Dad's House, we were doing at Pete's Candy Store.
Neat. That's pretty fucking cool. I tried to get my band to play there, and they're like, "No, we go to Brooklyn." I don't know what they meant by that, but they probably had, I don't know, more established acts or whatever who were going acoustic. But you had Dad's House, and then you also have currently Moms on the Go Official, is what it's called on Instagram, and it has you guys doing characters. You and a man are doing two female characters.
Yes.
And they look like moms, and it sounds like they're not directly after your moms, but you might occasionally lift some reality funny from your mothers.
I mean, sure. It's like there's definitely mom phrases I think that we've all become pretty accustomed to, that sneak their way in. Like I'm sure at one point or another there'll be something like, "Is your arm broken? Can you not push your own dishes away?" Something like that.
And so are they heavily accented? Are both of them heavily accented like that? Were your mothers like that or no?
My mom, no, I'm from Colorado. So everyone's accent is very neutral. There's nothing fun about it. So.
So you had to put on accents?
Yeah.
You had to choose your accent?
Yeah.
Because everything's just funnier with an accent, right?
I mean, it's also just fun to do with an accent,
You have to enjoy your time. If you're going to churn out quality content, you have to enjoy it just enough to keep it consistent. Because if you're just like, I'm doing a Colorado neutral accent, people are like, "Dude, are you even having fun doing this?"
Seriously, because the chances are probably not.
And I see a picture of Angela Lansbury here, and I just know. That's how you know. Like, this is like a sign. This is an indication that this is an account I want to follow. Moms on the Go Official.
Yes. Yeah.
How'd you guys get started with that? Like, how did you and your male friend figure out that you both were hilarious as women? I was dressing up in my mother's clothing.
Rob, his name is Rob Allen, and we met on an improv team called Picture Day, and we became buddies through that. And there was one day we were just like running errands through the city, and it was like we just had to get from like thing to thing to thing. So it was like, we're on the go. We're moms, and we're on the go. And I don't know, it just somehow completely ballooned from there. And we just started shooting these sketches. So Moms on the Go in the park, Moms on the Go Zumba, Moms on the Go shopping. They're all very generic, but it
velvet
gives us
suits. Yeah, let me paint people a picture here. You have velvet suits on, meaning like velvet track suits. Velvet. Very tight fitting, but also fanny packs.
Hell yeah.
Wigs, big sunglasses for Rob.
Yes.
But your character not so much with the sunglasses. Yeah, what about her? What character choice was that about?
I mean, I think she does. Maybe what you're looking at, that might just be a brief moment. But yeah, it was like we both have the velour track suits. We both have sunglasses, the fanny packs, the wigs.
Heavy gold. Do you have Cheerios and My Little Pony?
Yes, yes.
And you're taking pictures with people on the street.
Yeah.
What is
So
that? He seems like some sort of crossing guard or so. What is he? A police officer?
oh yeah, he was a police officer.
Wow. And one of you is in leopard and one of you is in tiger print or something. And it's just, he
Yes.
looks happy to be part of the action.
Oh my God. People are just like, what is going on?
Is that part of the fun? Like, because I really would love to see moms on the go if they were in the wild.
Oh,
Like,
it's a blast.
especially when they're interacting with these people like this, this person here.
Totally. It's such a good time because it's like, yes, we do live in New York and shit is crazy anyway, but like something like that is like, you got to tell me what's going on right now. Like you have to tell me. We went ice skating last February and people were like, is this for SNL? And we're like, pay us, please. Pay us. We'll take it.
Yeah, I see you guys at a mall here. You have several other people, 4 people with you. Were they just randos or were they part of it?
They were randos.
Yeah, we've always loved caroling. Thanks. Were they carolers?
Yeah, they were carolers. They all knew each other from NYU. They were like doing this like singing competition thing. We just happened upon them when we were shooting at the Oculus. So it's everything's just, we kind of have an idea in mind and then we just run with it.
And is that like how is that funner to do than straight stand up?
It's so different. Because I feel like with that, it's like you kind of have more of like a final product at the end, and I feel like stand-up is sort of like this repetitive practice.
Yeah.
And there is variety, but it's like I feel like only when you're starting to develop a new bit or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy the silliness of sketch comedy and character work because it just takes you out of yourself completely. And it's so fun.
Yeah, like, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm just always, trying to think, do I want to do stand-up? But like at its best, you're just repeating polished bits. And it's like, it's like even every laughter, every, uproarious laughter is just like, well, yeah, I knew that was coming because I'd polished this bit
because
over
I'm
years.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, over months though, you're like, of course I'm getting laughs here. I removed everything that didn't get me laughs. It's sanded down. It's perfect. It's polished, but it's like, it's not, how fun is that?
I mean, I still think it's a good time, because for me, I feel like it changes a little bit each time. Yeah. And, you're reading the room and the vibe is different. If people are responding well and like are willing to sort of play with you, I feel like that can make all the difference.
Yeah, because you're riffing a little bit, but then you fall into your established comedy and you're like, yeah, these people love me. This is awesome. Yeah. I'm present. I'm in the moment and I'm killing with A material.
Exactly.
Let's go. And you have everything. It's like you don't have to decide. That's where I'm such like an extremist completist. It's so black or white. I had this Asian boss once. She goes, you'd make a good terrorist. I'm like, holy shit. I can't believe that in this professional environment, the CFO said that I'd make a great terrorist. It's just because I'm so completist and extremist, and that's why I want every single comedian on my fucking show.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting because like, the path I feel like to stand up for me has been very irregular. There's been no straight shot about it. So for me, it's like my degree is in theater, film, and television. So I was like, oh, I'm moving to New York to be an actress. And then like over time, like the auditions I was doing, the shows I was getting put in, like some of them were okay and some of them were fucking awful. And so you're like, okay, how do I sort of start to take like a little more ownership of what I'm doing? Yeah. But then your fingers do just sort of start to end up in a bunch of pies. And that's where I have found myself. I have very, very dirty hands.
And yeah, it is some of that, the trip to comedy not being a straight line and moving out to New York City. I mean, did it have anything to do with one of our topics today, which is being a black sheep of the family?
Yeah, I mean, so I'd always performed. I think I did like my first like paid show in Denver at like age 8. And so I was like, oh, I got bit even much sooner than that. So it was always like okay, I'm doing this. This is what I'm interested in doing. This is what I want to be doing. So when I finished college, it was like, okay, it's either New York or Los Angeles. But nobody in my family is a creative. you know, so it's like my dad's a civil engineer, my mom's a registered nurse. And so it's kind of like, we support you.
But are hoping for a paying career.
Yeah, you just let us know when you get tired. You know, like we love you very much. But like something my mom asks all the time that I've had to be like, you need to stop. Is she's just like, aren't you tired yet? Aren't you? And I'm just like, no, I'm not. If I was, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. But like, keep trying, stop trying to get me to like nap on this whole thing, you know, like, you know.
Like, yeah, what are they seeing? Are they seeing that you're hustling and you're going to 3 mics a night? Or are they seeing just your characters being so exuberant that they're like, she must be exhausted. Why doesn't she just want to do a 9-to-5 job followed by a nap?
I wish the fucking exuberance was what. I wish they were like, God, look how committed she is. She must be tired. She's working so hard. No, it's like, yeah. I mean, I've often had more than one job, and then I go do shows, you know. So like you're working sort of 2 full-time jobs. Yeah. And I think it's been more like they, you know, I think parents hear what they want to hear, which is the struggle. And so they hear how hard it is or how frustrated I am, you know, sort of with the progression of things or lack thereof. And I feel like that's maybe more of what sets it off.
Okay. You just got to stop sharing with them your struggles, right?
Yeah, just stop talking to your family is what I'm saying.
I can only tell them about success that I've had.
Yeah, well, and I need to be better at sharing more positive things as well, you know, so that's work to do on my end also. But yeah,
I mean,
so
I mean, like your experience there, it makes me think that you'd be a better cat mother, but I just don't know that you are because I mean, you were telling me about your cat pre-pod, and it sounds like, I mean, you gave her a little bit too much freedom, I think.
Well, okay, so quarantine happened, and my cat was getting really restless, and she likes going out on the fire escape sometimes. Okay. And this other black cat would like come over the fence. So I live above a playground, like the color is not
important here.
The color's not important, but he was a
cat lives matter,
like
right?
He was a sexy Black Panther cat. Like that's like what he would just like slink into the back. And at first my cat was like, no, I'm not hanging out with you. And then she started staying out with him like all night. And I was just like, what?
Just couldn't get her back in.
No, I was like, I want you to have a nice time, but I swear to God, if I find you on the side of the road because of drugs and alcohol, or you come back pregnant,
yeah,
you know, we're gonna have to have a serious conversation.
Because I mean, how many times has this been allowed to happen? Because I would think after the first time, you wouldn't have let her out. Period.
Well, but she
as
got
a mother,
taste.
You can't do that because she's
right.
Gonna rebel,
no, you can't. And she also got a taste of it, so it was like. Then she was just going to be obnoxious until she got what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like, she's like, oh, but you let me out one time. Why can't I go out again?
Why would you do that if you didn't want me to enjoy my
freedom? Right, exactly. And then, you know, and then I got more comfortable with it because then she always comes home. And so I was like, you know what? I don't think you're going that far, really. So she's microchipped. She's spayed. Okay. All the right mom things have been done. So,
do you know if it's a male black cat, and do you know if are you hearing sounds in the middle of the night or not?
So he hasn't been by for a while, but he's
got a new piece.
What the fuck?
You can't do that to my daughter.
Seriously, you didn't call, you didn't text, and nothing. But he would come by and he would just be like, and you're like, whoa.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like.
Seriously, when he comes calling, he makes that sound?
That's it.
That is disturbing. And so she goes out, when she went out with him, would you hear like the real loud cries of ecstasy or not really?
Well, that's the thing is like I don't think she ever let him. I don't think they ever made it to third base.
And how would you know that?
Because I feel like I would have heard it.
Yeah. You would, yeah.
Like
I feel like I would know it. It's like what you're saying is you didn't hear it. Okay.
No, I never heard it. And then then they just got friendly. Like they would sit with each other, but like 5 or 6 feet away from one another.
Oh, it's socially distanced.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, this feels safe, and I think maybe you guys didn't have sex. So
is he still doing the bizarre cry? Because you know that only means sex.
Right. Well, then he hasn't come back. So I'm like, well. Was he just like, this is a waste of time?
Oh, that's sad. Or he already hit that.
Exactly.
What was the sound he made again? The sex sound?
You
That the
want me
cat
to do it
made?
again? It
Yeah.
was this. It goes.
I'm setting up the clip here. Okay. Amanda Van Nostrand, could you please repeat the weird sex sound that this weirdo cat from the neighborhood did when he was calling after your female cat?
Sure. It goes like this.
That's it. That's the clip. That's all I fucking need. That's amazing. And are you doing any of that stuff on stage? Because that's hilarious.
I mean, I was.
Yeah, I love that. You're like, no, you can't just, I mean, well, then why did he let me on the first time if you didn't want me to enjoy my freedom? Like, I love personifying the cats, and I would think Moms on the Go, as currently cast, just can't convey that nuanced, real Colorado neutral mother.
Right? No, I feel like I was doing a lot of cat material, especially when it was like initially going on for the Zoom show. So it definitely made its way. It definitely made its way in there for sure.
Did you do the weird meow thing?
Did I do the meow?
Because that was
I'm
ready.
sure I did. Like, why keep that gift away from people? The people need to know. You know?
I guess that's part of the joy of doing stand-up, that you can get up on stage and try out that cat material and just find out that it's a material.
Right.
Like when you first find out it's a material, that must just be magical.
It's a good time. You're like, oh, that's awesome. That thing that I thought was so funny is also funny to you.
But like, I guess, is there some disappointment knowing that your cat material gets A, and maybe other things that you're really hoping to do well didn't measure up to the cat? Like, I mean, you were the genius to figure out it was funny and to do it on stage with the cat meow, but like, have you ever been disappointed to learn that something that you held really dear to your heart didn't, go as far in being A?
All the time. Like, you're like, I thought that was so. I had a joke for a while after Get Out came out, the Jordan Peele film, and the joke was about Allison Williams because apparently some of the character work that she did for the role was to put in different colored eye contacts.
Oh gosh.
And give herself bangs. And
so
I was just like, yeah, I know. Way to dig deep, Allison. You skinny bitch. But
yeah, you're more than a hot person, aren't you?
Yeah, look at you doing that intense homework. Wow. But doing a joke about like, she gives herself a bang trim and then looks in the mirror and doesn't quite recognize herself. Like, where did I go? Oh, there I am. Oh, thank God. Wasn't the contacts this time. It was.
So that didn't get the response?
I wasn't working it out correctly. Then
it would have been dated, and you would have to figure out new examples.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so how do you do that? Like, are you always doing, like stuff from your life so that it's evergreen, but also because nobody else would have that joke about your fucking cat?
Right. I mean, like, there was a period of time where I was very depressed, like clinically depressed. And so I was doing a lot of jokes sort of around that particular stuff. And I love.
It's hilarious. I mean, that's fucking hilarious.
It's so funny.
I had to stop myself from laughing at your depression.
But it's true because it's like people know what you're talking about. Like when you say like, I'm about ready to like take a bath and like plug in a hairdryer at the same time, like just throw caution to the wind. Let's see what happens here. Like I feel like there will always be room for something like that.
I love that. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Just see what happens. Throw some straight razors in there and let the water get really, really nice and warm. And then
I'm just trying to see if they get rusty. How long does it take them before either they get rusty or full of blood? I don't know.
Right, exactly. See, it's like I don't know. So stuff like that, but like, and that is like a fun thing to bring up and say, but it's not really a part of like my life anymore.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so you can tap that, I feel like for like specific things, but as far as maybe like an all-encompassing idea, I wouldn't latch on to that so much right now.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the fat, if I'm a fat dude, and of course I am, and if I start crafting an entire, act of fat jokes, you're almost kind of like hogtied from actually,
right.
getting healthy. Like, is there anything in your life now, now that you've kind of maybe turned the corner on depression, I hope, like, is
Yeah.
there other things, other dark things that you're tempted to talk about, but then you're like, oh shit, but what if the same thing happens? What if I get healthier? What if I, excise this bad thing out of my life and then I have a whole, act full of irrelevant shit?
Yeah, but that's the fun of it, right? Like it's a continual workout. And,
Yeah.
even if you are doing better, you can still be disgusted with yourself. Like that's the benefit of being a human, you know?
You can still
Like
be disgusted with
you can
yourself.
still hate yourself. You can maybe not be as sad, but like if I'm realizing that I am maybe more of a positive person than I initially thought, and that makes me
Yeah.
want to gag, like that's something that I can explore.
Yeah,
Like
my old
why,
self would be disgusted by this positive person I
right?
become.
Like what happened to you? Where's your
Yeah.
edge?
You have a little cat on your banner photo on Twitter. Like, where are you getting with this fantastic positive
I don't
bullshit?
exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, that's where the fun is going to be during the quarantine. It's Amanda Van Nos, and that's both Instagram and Twitter. And then
Right.
via Instagram, I see Keeping It Fresh Comedy. And when's the next show? Do you know?
It's every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on Zoom. You
Good.
can find the link to it on our Facebook page.
Good. A lot of great comics. I think Adam Mueller and Kimberly De Niro, I forget how she pronounced
Yes,
her name. I had it right once, but then you're not doing Dad's House until the world opens back up. But
I think so.
Mom's on the Go official.
That's
She
right.
she she gets rid of that Colorado neutral and she puts on the funniest accent. Their mom's on the Go.
They're on the go.
How
They
do they
got
talk
stuff
to
to
them?
do. They're
Yeah,
on the
I
go.
want. Yeah, the genuine. It was you and Rob, and you're like, we're just moms on the go.
Yeah, we got stuff to do. Mom's on the go. We gotta go. We gotta go.
And you might see her in the wild, like if you're caroling at the Oracle or Ocular, what's it called?
The Oculus.
At the Oculus, which I haven't
Yeah.
been to yet, so thanks for the picture.
Oh,
You might
sure.
see moms on the go in the wild.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Say
fucking
hi.
do the cat meow. Don't It won't freak you out.
Seriously, if I was to be called that way, if somebody saw me and they just meowed at me, I would be like,
Yes.
"Oh my God, I feel like I'm getting somewhere."
Well, for that to happen, you have to take us out with the cat meow. Amanda Van Nose, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.